Hiruzen Sarutobi has been one of the most interesting characters in Naruto franchise. During part 1, he had been the most hyped character after Minato no Mikaze. During one of his interviews in 2008, Masashi Kishimoto was asked if Minato was the strongest shinobi that ever lived, and he answered, as far as that shinobi goes, then yes, he is the strongest. I would say that third Hokage shares the number 1 spot with him. As far as living shinobis goes, well, without going into many details, I would have to say no. There are a couple of shinobis who are stronger than him. Well, obviously, this interview has been debunked by the series. Yeah, it's true. Minato is one of the strongest ninja in history, but he definitely is not the strongest dead shinobi. Madara and Hashirama were leagues above him. However, we can see that Kishimoto himself was hyping him as well as the third Hokage. However, Hiruzen was much more hyped in the databooks. For example, Databook 2, page 265 says that the third is called the strongest, even among the past Hokage, and he is even admired as the god of shinobi. Databook 2, page 84. Konohamaru, descendant from Sandaime, who was praised as history's strongest Hokage. Databook 2, page 117. He's such a genius ninja that he was even called the Professor, and he still garners everyone's respect as the strongest Hokage in history. I don't think there's another character more hyped that we never got to see in action. Hiruzen was considered as the strongest Kage during his lifetime. This means despite being in his late 60s, he was stronger than 4th Raikage A, 4th Kazekage Rasa, 5th Mizukage Mei, and 3rd Tsuchikage Onoki. He was also considered as a god of shinobi, and in history, there have been only 2 other people who were possessing that title, and those 2 were Hashirama Senju and Hagoromo Otsutsuki. Both of them were leagues above other people in terms of power, and were literal gods, thus earning their title of god of shinobi, and Hiruzen being one of them should tell us a lot about his power. But still, how strong was the third Hokage? Well, in my opinion, he's the one who has limitless potential when it comes to abilities. Because in the first Naruto Databook, it is written that Hiruzen had the ability to use any technique and is reputed for his advanced knowledge and skill in the use of all techniques to ever exist within Konoha, including the many hidden techniques. Orochimaru also said the same thing during their battle, and the latest Naruto Databook, the 4th Naruto Databook, also said the same. Not many people give this feat enough credit. A lot of Hidden Leaf ninjas were feared because of their usage of hidden techniques. For example, Minato was worldwide famous, mostly because of his usage of Flying Thunder God technique, which is a forbidden technique, developed by the second Hokage. This is not the only all-port hidden technique of Hidden Leaf, developed by Tobirama Senju. We also have Edo Tensei and Shadow Clone techniques. We have seen Hiruzen using one of them. He also knew hand signs and could potentially use Edo Tensei as well, since he was able to stop the coffin of the 4th Hokage, while Orochimaru was summoning them to fight him. It's funny to imagine Hiruzen using Edo Tensei, and even if he could, it would be a much weaker version than we saw when it was used by Orochimaru and Kabuto, since we know it was not perfected until they started using it. We could assume that Hiruzen could also use Flying Thunder God technique, and I think he is the one who taught Minato that technique. There is literally no reason as to why Hiruzen should not learn it. He is considered as a natural prodigy. His talents earned him the position of Hokage at a young age, directly selected by the second Hokage, having surpassed his teacher in childhood. As I mentioned earlier, he was the student of the second Hokage, and why wouldn't Tobirama teach his most talented and top student one of his signature ability? And also, let's not forget the fact that it's said that he could use every hidden ability of the Hidden Leaf, and Flying Thunder God is one of them. Also, Flying Thunder God is not really a difficult technique to learn. A lot of people don't know, but Minato and Tobirama are not the only Flying Thunder God technique users. There were also other 3 users of it: Rodeo Namiyashi, Genma Shiranui, and Iwashi Tatami. However, unlike Tobirama and Minato, they could not do it alone, and needed to team up with each other to use Flying Thunder God. Ninjutsu is not the only thing Hiruzen seems to be unparalleled. It is said that he knew 1000 illusions, aka genjutsus. Kakashi is very popular for his copied 1000 techniques. But imagine, Hiruzen knows 1000 genjutsus only. Imagine in total how many techniques this guy would know. And he learned and mastered all of that without the help of Sharingan, unlike Kakashi, with his raw talent alone. Also, the fourth databook states, training very hard under Hashirama and Tobirama. He was sparring with them a lot. He knew their tricks and their abilities, which was shown during his battle against Hokages. I believe during this sparring he was winning most of their battles, and that's why people were mostly considering him superior to Hashirama. Also, I think Hashirama was the one who taught him summoning technique, because if we look closely to Hashirama while being in his sage mode, he looks like a monkey, and his eyes are the same as Monkey King Enma. So it is not far-fetched to say that he was the one who taught Hiruzen monkey summoning. This also makes it possible for Hiruzen to also know monkey sage mode, but I think it's too far-fetched to think that Hiruzen is sage mode user. But despite all of that, how strong was Hiruzen compared to the first Hokage? Let's start with Tobirama Senju. A lot of people think that Tobirama is stronger than Hiruzen, and that's understandable. He was getting a much more screen time in the Fourth War than Hiruzen Sarutobi. However, there were feats that proved that Hiruzen, even in his 60s, was still on par with Tobirama. For example, in the Fourth Ninja World War, when the God Tree was absorbing people's chakra and killing them, it got Naruto. Tobirama was trying to save him, but he could not do anything. And without him even realizing it, Hiruzen came and saved Naruto. And he did not use any teleportation technique to get there, but his raw speed alone. This should tell us something about his speed, and imagine how fast he would be in his prime. Also, in the war, Hiruzen was able to single-handedly stop the Buddha statue, while the whole Shinobi Alliance was unable to do. I don't remember Tobirama having this big feat in the war. Also, in the fourth Naruto databook, it is explicitly stated that Hiruzen's talent surpassed Tobirama's since childhood, so this should tell us something. But still, why did people think that he was the strongest Hokage, despite Hashirama being the previous one? Well, I think the reason of that was that people had seen more from Prime Hiruzen than Hashirama. In the first Naruto databook, it is written that Hashirama died shortly after founding the village, and thus not a lot of people knew about his full strength. This can be seen during the war when Hidden Leaf ninjas were surprised how strong the first Hokage was. However, this doesn't mean that Hiruzen was leagues weaker than Hashirama, as a lot of people think that. I believe in his prime he is in the same league as the first Hokage, since Lord tells us so. I believe he is third strongest Hokage after Naruto and Hashirama, and unlike them he reached that level with his talent alone, without any Kekkei Genkai or Tailed Beast. Anyway, I guess this is all for today. What do you think? How strong was Hiruzen Sarutobi? Let me know in the comments. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel for more. Astrojack out. Bye.